Which one of the following statements most accurately applies to the frequency of a waveform? A. The actual frequency of a sine waveform is 1.41 times the working frequency. B. Unless specified otherwise, the frequency of a waveform is assumed to be 60 Hz. C. The higher the amplitude of a waveform, the higher its frequency. D. The longer the period of a waveform, the lower its frequency. The correct answer is the actual frequency of a sine waveform is 1.41 times the working frequency. The merging of a free electron and a hole is called A. Covalent bonding. B. Lifetime. C. Recombination. D. Thermal energy. The correct answer is recombination. 1 Henry of inductance is defined as A. The amount of counter-amp required to reduce a current to 1 A. B. The amount of inductance required for generating 1 V of counter-amp when the current changes at the rate of 1 A per second. C. The amount of inductance required to change the frequency of a current by 1 Hz. D. The number of turns of wire in an inductor multiplied by the amount of current flowing through it. The correct answer is the amount of inductance required for generating 1 V of counter-amp when the current changes at the rate of 1 A per second. The basic unit of measurement for current is the A. Volt. B. Watt. C. Ampere. D. Ohm. The correct answer is ampere. Which one of the following phrases most accurately describes the nature of a pulsating DC voltage? A. The voltage remains at one polarity and at a steady level. B. The voltage remains at one polarity but changes value periodically. C. The voltage causes current to flow in two directions at the same time. D. The voltage reverses polarity periodically. The correct answer is the voltage remains at one polarity but changes value periodically. What is a negative ion? A. An atom that contains more electrons than neutrons. B. An atom that contains more protons than neutrons. C. An atom that contains more electrons than protons. D. An atom that contains more protons than electrons. The correct answer is an atom that contains more electrons than protons. In a transistor operates at the middle of the load line. An increase in the base resistance will move the Q point A down, B up, C nowhere, D off the load line. The correct answer is down. Voltage is A. The flow of charged particles through a material. B. The smallest electrically charged particle. C. Free force that causes electrons to flow. D. The number of free electrons in an atom. The correct answer is free force that causes electrons to flow. What is the turns ratio for the transformer specified in the above question? A. 10.738. B. 0.707. C. 1.5. D. 0.575. The correct answer is 0.707. The total impedance of a series RLC circuit. A. Is minimum at the resonant frequency. B. Always increases as the applied frequency increases. C. Always decreases as the applied frequency increases. D. Is maximum at the resonant frequency. The correct answer is minimum at the resonant frequency. The direction of electron current flow is A. From right to left. B. From positive to negative. C. From negative to positive. D. From neutral to positive. The correct answer is from negative to positive. A device that converts mechanical pressure to electrical energy is called A piezoelectric device. B. Solar cell. C. Photodiode. D. naked cell. The correct answer is piezoelectric device. Which one of the following statements is true for the voltage in a parallel RC circuit? A. The voltage always has the same amplitude and phase for every part of the circuit. B. The total voltage is equal to the sum of the voltages across the resistance and capacitance. C. The total voltage leads the total current by less than 90 degrees. D. The total voltage is less than the sum of the voltages across the resistance and capacitance. The correct answer is the voltage always has the same amplitude and phase for every part of the circuit. The Thevenin resistance is equal in value to the A. Load resistance, B. half the load resistance, C. internal resistance of a Norton circuit, D. open load resistance. The correct answer is load resistance. Most AC power is obtained from A. generators, B. batteries, C. oscillators, D. lightning. The correct answer is oscillators. The value of a capacitor can be made larger by A. increasing the area of the plates, B. decreasing the area of the plates, C. increasing the frequency of the applied voltage, D. increasing the voltage applied to the plates. The correct answer is increasing the area of the plates. The value of a capacitor can be made larger by A. moving the plates further apart, B. moving the plates closer together, C. increasing the voltage applied to the plates, D. decreasing the voltage applied to the plates. The correct answer is moving the plates closer together. The primary impedance of a transformer is 60 ohm and the secondary impedance is 120 ohm. What is the impedance ratio? A. 0.25, B. 180, C. 0.5, D. 4. The correct answer is 0.5. Suppose a voltage source has an ideal voltage of 12 V and an internal resistance of 0.5 watts. For what values of load resistance will the voltage source appear stiff? A. 5 ohm, B. 50 ohm or more, C. 100 ohm, D. 6 ohm. The correct answer is 50 ohm or more. Electron current is flowing through a conductor in a direction you might describe as straight into this page. What is the direction of the resulting magnetic field? A. clockwise, B. counterclockwise, C. out of this page, D. into this page. The correct answer is counterclockwise. Which one of the following principles best describes the basic operation of an electromagnet? A. Current is induced in a conductor that is moving through a magnetic field. B. Like magnetic poles repel while unlike poles attract. C. Current flowing through a conductor generates a magnetic field. D. Like magnetic poles attract while unlike poles repel. The correct answer is current flowing through a conductor generates a magnetic field. The transistor has a collector current of 2 mA. If the current gain is 135, what is the base current? A. 14.8 A, B. 10.3 A, C. 7.8 A, D. 7.75 A. The correct answer is 14.8 A. Current and voltage are said to be in phase when A. their waveforms are both AC or both DC. B. they have the same amplitude and frequency. C. their waveforms cross through zero and reach positive and negative peaks at the same time. D. all of the above. The correct answer is their waveforms cross through zero and reach positive and negative peaks at the same time. Silicon atoms combine into an orderly pattern called a crystal, B. covalent bond, C. semiconductor, D. valence orbit. The correct answer is crystal. The rotating coil of wire in an electric motor is called the A. Armature. B. Brush. C. Commutator. D. Loop. The correct answer is armature. The north pole of a magnet is the one A. that has its molecules arranged in a random pattern. B. that would be attracted to the Earth's north magnetic pole. C. that would be repelled by the south pole of another magnet. D. that would be attracted to the Earth's south magnetic pole. The correct answer is that would be attracted to the Earth's north magnetic pole. A resistor has a rated value of 100 ohm and a tolerance of 10. What is its minimum and maximum allowable resistance value? A. 90 ohm 101 ohm. B. 90 ohm 110 ohm. C. 98 ohm 100.1 ohm. D. 99 ohm 102 ohm. The correct answer is 90 ohm 110 ohm. When a parallel RLC circuit is operating at its resonant frequency, A. capacitive reactance is greater than the inductive reactance. B. inductive reactance is greater than the capacitive reactance. C. inductive reactance is equal to the capacitive reactance. D. the difference between inductive and capacitive reactance is equal to the resistance. The correct answer is inductive reactance is equal to the capacitive reactance. For normal operation of the transistor, the collector diode has to be A. forward biased. B. reverse biased. C. non-conducting. D. operating in the breakdown region. The correct answer is reverse biased. In a step-down transformer which is larger, A. primary voltage. B. secondary voltage. C. neither. D. impossible to say. The correct answer is primary voltage. What is the barrier potential of a silicon diode at room temperature? A. 0.7 V. B. 0.3 V. C. 1 V. D. 2 mV per degree Celsius. The correct answer is 0.7 V. The Norton current is sometimes called the A. shorted load current. B. open load current. C. Thevenin current. D. Thevenin voltage. The correct answer is shorted load current. At room temperature, a conductor has many holes. A. same number as free electrons. B. many. C. only those produced by thermal energy. D. less than the free electrons. The correct answer is same number as free electrons. A current source has an internal resistance of 100 kilowatts. What is the largest load resistance if the current source must appear stiff? A. 2 k ohm. B. 10 k ohm. C. 20 k ohm. D. 1 k ohm. The correct answer is 1 k ohm. When the Q point moves along the load line, the voltage increases when the current A. decreases. B. stays the same. C. increases. D. can be any of above. The correct answer is increases. What is the smallest number of polarities required for current flow? A. 1 a negative terminal. B. 2 a negative terminal and a positive terminal. C. 3 negative positive and neutral terminals. D. 4 2 negative and 2 positive. The correct answer is 2 a negative terminal and a positive terminal. A diode is in series with 220 watts. If the voltage across the resistor is 4 V, what is the current through the diode? A. 55 A. B. 55.86 A. C. 18.2 mA. D. 16.3 mA. The correct answer is 18.2 mA. Two diodes are in series. The first diode has a voltage of 0.75 V and the second has a voltage of 0.8 V. If the current through the first diode is 500 mA, what is the current through the second diode? A. 11 mA. B. 12 mA. C. 10 mA. D. 14 mA. The correct answer is 10 mA. The graph of current gain versus collector current indicates that the current gain A varies enormously, B is constant, C varies slightly, D equals the collector current divided by the base current. The correct answer is equals the collector current divided by the base current. Which one of the following statements is true for the currents in a parallel RL circuit? A. The total current is equal to the sum of the currents through the resistance and inductance. B. The current always has the same amplitude and phase for every part of the circuit. C. The total current is less than the sum of the currents through the resistance and inductance. D. The total current leads the total voltage by less than 90. The correct answer is the total current is less than the sum of the currents through the resistance and inductance. What is the impedance of a circuit composed of a 100 ohm resistor connected in parallel with an inductor that has a reactance of 200 watts? A. 77.7 ohm, B. 89.3 ohm, C. 88.8 ohm, D. 224 ohm. The correct answer is 89.3 ohm. The nucleus of the copper atom contains how many protons? A. 1, B. 4, C. 18, D. 29. The correct answer is 29. Which one of the following statements is true for voltage in a series circuit? A. The total voltage is equal to the sum of the individual voltages in a series circuit. B. The total voltage in a series circuit is equal to the average value of the individual voltages. C. The total voltage of a series circuit is equal to the total current divided by the total resistance. D. The total voltage in a series circuit is always less than the value of the smallest voltage. The correct answer is the total voltage is equal to the sum of the individual voltages in a series circuit. A basic capacitor is composed of A. Two conductors separated by a dielectric, B. Two dielectrics separated by a conductor, C. Two coils separated by a dielectric, D. Two coils separated by a conductor. The correct answer is two conductors separated by a dielectric. Which one of the following devices is most often used for measuring electrical potential difference? A. Voltmeter, B. Ohmmeter, C. Ammeter, D. Wattmeter. The correct answer is voltmeter. Which one of the following equations most directly determines the power dissipation of a resistance when you know the voltage drop and amount of resistance? A. Pi/R, B. Pi, C. Pe/R, D. Ipe. The correct answer is Pe/R. The equivalent of 1 megohms is A. 1 k ohm, B. 100,000 ohm, C. 1 millionth of an ohm, D. 1 million ohms. The correct answer is 1 million ohms. Which one of the following equations most directly determines the amount of current flowing through a resistor when you know the value of the resistor and the voltage drop across it? A. EPR, B. EI/R, C. IER, D. IER. The correct answer is IER. Suppose a current source has an ideal current of 10 mA and an internal resistance of 20 megawatt. For what values of load resistance will the current source appear stiff? A. 20 k ohm or more, B. 200 k ohm or less, C. 200 k ohm or more, D. 20 kilometers or less. The correct answer is 200 k ohm or less. If the current gain is 200 and the collector current is 100 mA, the base current is A. 2 mA, B. 0.5 mA, C. 2A, D. 200 A. The correct answer is 0.5 mA.